The 1990s were a buffet of world-ending blockbusters. You had Independence Day, The Matrix, Terminator 2, Armageddon, all different flavors, sure, but built from the same recipe. Gritty action, American military bravado, and a very serious case of world-ending stakes. And smack dab in the middle comes along The Fifth Element. Same decade, same stakes, but instead of Aerosmith power ballads, you get Jackson Lamb in a plastic headpiece, a blue opera singer stuffed with magic rocks, and Chris Tucker dressed like... well, honestly, I don't know what he's dressed like. It's not just a blockbuster, it's the weirdest, horniest science fiction fever dream Hollywood ever funded. I'm Colton from Nostalgia Mode, and this is the story of The Fifth Element, the weirdest blockbuster of the 90s. The movie starts in Egypt in the year 1914, where archaeologists are poking around an ancient temple, uncovering prophecies about some generic cosmic evil that shows up every 5,000 years. Enter the Mondo Shawans, giant golden Michelin men who move around like penguins and sound like they're suffocating in their own cosplay. Fun tidbit, the Mondo Shawans are actually actors in these giant suits with animatronic heads. They were incredibly hot, incredibly heavy, and the actors couldn't see out the front because the head was being puppeteered by somebody else. So in between takes, they had to be tipped over and put on a dolly and moved to their next spot. So when they look like they're waddling in slow motion, that wasn't a creative choice. They physically could not move any faster. The Mondo Shawans then take our four pretty generic looking elemental stones and promise to return when Earth really needs them, which is very considerate because nothing says reliable galactic defense strategy like putting your fate in the hands of space ducks whose Achilles heel is crushing their hands, apparently. Flash forward 300 years in the future, a giant flaming space ball of death shows up headed straight for Earth. Naturally, the US military tries to shoot it with nukes because that's their solution to literally everything. And of course, it just makes the evil stronger. This is one of those little details I love about The Fifth Element. In Independence Day, the nukes are the ultimate trump card that saved the day. Here, they actually feed the problem, which is Luke Beeson's way of saying, "Your American machismo means nothing in space, mon ami." Jesus Christ, that kind of killed that shit. At this point, the Mondo Shawans try to return with the ultimate weapon, but oops, they get blown the fuck up. Luckily, scientists recover some DNA and reconstruct it into the perfect being. Lilu, played by Milla Jovovich in what would be her breakout role. Fun behind-the-scenes tidbit, Jovovich and Beeson were the ones who actually created Lilu's divine language, a 400-word fake tongue that they would practice together. It was so complicated, though, that she had to memorize all her lines phonetically before each scene, kind of like what Ana de Armas had to do in War Dogs with English because she didn't speak it at the time. I know this isn't a Things You Never Knew video, but boom, bonus thing you never knew. Lilu bursts out of her containment pod wearing one of the most iconic outfits ever put to film, created by French fashion designer Jean-Paul Gaultier. He ended up designing over 900 different costumes for this film. This wasn't just wardrobe design either, it was Paris Fashion Week in space, and when paired with Luke Beeson's directing style, it helps give this film a very offbeat European sensibility. Anyways, Lilu escapes, swan dives through a wall, and crashes straight into the flying taxi of Corbin Dallas, played by Bruce Willis. Fun fact, Bruce Willis and Mel Gibson were actually approached about the role of Corbin Dallas in the early 90s, but they both ended up turning it down because it wasn't enough money. So this made Luke Beeson put The Fifth Element on the back burner so he could make The Professional, which is a banger-ass movie.
You mean everyone?
Everyone! Then, after a string of Bruce Willis box office flops, him and Beeson were able to renegotiate and lock this movie in. And just like that, Corbin Dallas was born. The character of Corbin Dallas is a down-on-his-luck retired soldier slash cab driver who's basically just Bruce Willis but slightly more tired. He's divorced, broke, and doesn't really care about saving the world. His only real character trait is that he is so horny, constantly rambling on about this so-called perfect woman that he can't find, like a total bitch. The movie really lights up after these two meet. The chemistry between him and Jovovich really works. She's this chaotic, divine ball of energy, and he's just a grumpy New Yorker trying not to lose the last 50 points on his license. That said, there's one thing about their love story that hasn't aged so gracefully over the years. The whole random stranger kisses a sleeping woman he doesn't know and can't converse with to wake her up gently bit isn't exactly charming in 2025.
Brother,
Keep it in your fucking pants, Corbin. Come on, bro, be cool. Around this time, we meet our villain, Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg, played by Gary Oldman in one of the most bizarre performances of his whole career that he also apparently hates. He's got a plastic half-dome haircut, a foghorn drawl, and his evil plan involves helping the space fireball destroy Earth? Because chaos equals profit? Like, who's even gonna pay you? Not everything needs to make sense. Just roll with it. Another fun fact worth noting, Zorg never actually meets Corbin Dallas in the movie. They're the hero and the villain of the story, and they never interact, which is either a genius subversion or Luke Beeson forgetting to write a scene for them together. Eventually, everyone ends up on Floston Paradise, the galaxy's most extravagant cruise liner, and this is where the movie truly peaks in its weirdness. You've got puffy space aristocrats walking around in powdered wigs, Chris Tucker's Ruby Rod shrieking so high-pitched it could shatter glass, and aliens that look like walruses shooting up the place. In my opinion, it's actually a lot of fun. Speaking of Ruby Rod, he's a divisive character for sure. He's like if Prince, RuPaul, and Jar Jar Binks had a chaotic love child, but you cannot deny Chris Tucker's commitment to the bit. And then, oh man, the opera scene. Diva Plava Laguna, the big blue alien opera singer, starts with this legit classy aria, and then suddenly pivots into this full-on techno banger while Lilu kung fu fights Mangalores perfectly in sync with the beat. It's absurd, it's over-choreographed, and it absolutely fucking rules. Honestly, weird shit like this deserves way more appreciation. Where else are you gonna see a space opera literally turn into a space opera? I already get enough gritty, depressing realism in my day-to-day life. It's called paying rent. If I want to watch a sexy orange woman duplex walruses to EDM, that's my business. Another behind-the-scenes tidbit is that vocal sequence at the opera is so complex that it can't be sung by a human voice. It has to be digitally stitched together, note by note. So when you're thinking, wow, a human voice can do that? You're right, it can't. They cheated. Also, this is where we learned that Diva was hiding the 4 elemental stones inside her body. Like literally inside her stomach. Assuming that's where her species' stomach is. Don't think about the logistics too much, just accept that the whole time she's singing and moving around, she has these massive rocks bouncing around in her abdomen. Lilu and team retrieve the rocks, we say goodbye to Gary Oldman and fly our way back to Earth to wrap this bad boy up back where we started. The stones are activated back at the temple in Egypt, but there's one problem. Lilu has seen all of human history and she's not sure we're worth saving. Which, fair point. If I'd just spent the last few days watching humans blow stuff up and listening to Ruby Rod, I'd also probably hit the let the apocalypse happen button. But then, Corbin Dallas does what Corbin Dallas does best. He kisses her. Sort of with consent this time. And boom, the power of underwritten true love saves the galaxy. Independence Day had nukes, Men in Black had alien technology, The Fifth Element has love. The Fifth Element is love. Absolute cinema. It's messy, it's campy, it's horny, and that's exactly why it's still a cult classic today. The Fifth Element is a movie where giant space fireballs aren't stopped by fighter jets or drilling into asteroids, but by the power of human connection. And some truly spectacular French fashion. In a world that keeps churning out stories about the unrelenting hopelessness of existence, it's honestly a relief when a movie ends with a message about love. Fuck me, I'm getting old. And that's everything I've got on The Fifth Element, but please leave a comment down below if I missed anything, and also leave a like on the video. If you enjoy what I do here, it really helps let YouTube know it needs to show my videos to more wonderful people like you. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to Nostalgia Mode for more entertainment related videos. Until next time, bye.